Errol Spence says too many people calling themselves champions and he wants to tighten up with all the goddamn belts in boxing. Also, he gets at the haters for, I guess, being mad that he's fighting Danny Garcia. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button for the latest and greatest in boxing. Listen, Errol Spence, he has some stuff to say on his social media. I made some videos. Errol Spence definitely in shape. Check those videos out. I'm liking it. I'm loving it. McDonald's, I'm loving it. The man looks ready to go. He's fighting Danny Garcia, Fox pay-per-view. Now let's get to what he said. And actually, let me just start off by saying this. I like Errol Spence showing a presence on social media. You know, I might actually get into this for boxing, like PR work and branding, because, you know, I came through the ranks and made a name in this boxing game just off the strength of branding and branding myself and, you know, the impressions and stuff. The Arnold, yeah, what are you doing? Hey, Killian, you know, and branding is so big and important. You know, I have a lot of taglines that people know me for. What up, Fight World, and the Vampire Stream, the latest and greatest, and 7 reasons, etc. So branding is definitely big. So I love to see fighters utilize this great big space called social media and the intranet. So I like Errol Spence. He's been vocal. He's talked about some of his shortcomings and things that he vows to change, like in between, namely his in between weight, in between his fights. So keep it up. Tank Davis, he's another one. He's been utilizing his social media, going back and forth with DJ Mustard. He's also showing a little bit of his personal life, hooping and playing basketball with friends, you know, in his whips and things like that. Showing what he's eating, even showed some sparring, and that's on the channel. So make sure you guys check out these fights. PBC has done a hell of a job with their upcoming schedule, both on Fox and Showtime. Now, Fox, again, Spence versus Danny Garcia, November 21st. Let's get it. Errol Spence says, too many boxers calling themselves or theyselves, too many boxers calling themselves a world champion. We have to tighten up with all these titles. Crying emoji. So he says it's cap, basically. There's too many people and too many titles, which is true. You know, and I don't know, this is the day after the Rolly fight, which is, there's some controversy there. So I don't know if this is what brought it up. But just to put it in perspective, in the lightweight division, the WBA has 4 WBA versions of belts. You see what I'm saying? Like a WBA super and regular and interim and Nintendo belt and all types of stuff. So I've been saying this. Boxing has a lot of problems, and it's why it's probably not received like MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA, you know what I mean? Because there's no governing bodies to regulate stuff like that. It's about power. It's about, you know, politics. It's about riders and punks. What side are you on? You know, there's just a lot of ailments that go on in boxing, and to truly be looked at as a legit and legitimized sport, we have to clean up certain things. And there's just overall too many belts with the alphabet belts. It's very confusing, not to myself because I cover boxing, but just imagine somebody getting into boxing and they see that Dillian White, if he beats Povetkin, he's the WBC Diamond champion, but then Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury are fighting for the WBC belt. And then you look in other divisions, you got Canelo got the WBA regular, and he's more popular than Caleb Smith, but Caleb Smith is the regular champion or super champ. You know, it's just all too confusing. Then Canelo got belts in every division. You know, he had one at 175, relinquished that. He hasn't defended at 160. We don't know if Canelo can even make 160 or wants to go back down to 160, yet he still got them belts, you know? He still got the 160 belt. So what's up? Like, he just gets to hold him hostage instead of fights like Charlo versus Derevyanchenko. That would be a belt freed up. And nobody says it but me and new media. Death Row East believe in that. So I agree with Errol Spence. The reason being, I've been telling you guys this alpha belt stuff is garbo. You know, Canelo Rocky Fielding, they both got a WBA 168. It's just too crazy in boxing. And it becomes hard, again, especially for the newbies, to sift through, to see what's what and who's doing what. It's just too much going on. But meanwhile, Errol Spence, he's in shape. Let's go. Let's get it. Smash the like button. And that's the great thing that Errol, man down, got going for himself. He a legitimate champion. Ain't nobody can say anything about Errol Spence because he went to Sheffield, England to fight Kell Brook. So basically, I'm at my true weight and my fight can give Errol Spence a chocolate brownie, realistically, right? He went to the man's backyard and he took that. So basically, realistically, right? He took it. He took he gave Kell Brook the chocolate brownie. Basically, you know what I'm saying? So he a legit champion. And right here, you see on the screen, this is his second belt, a unification with a dog. This is the dog pound, Sean Porter. You remember he came in barking on Danny Garcia, came in the ring and all that. This is a legitimate champion, two-time champion. He had the IBF, lost it to Kell Brook, who Errol Spence beat. Stop. Only person to stop him at welterweight. He a big welterweight. Then later, Sean Porter fought Danny Garcia for the vacant WBC belt. Keith Thurman, you know, he was in bumper car accidents, all types of stuff, playing the flutes and violins and harps and stuff. He couldn't hold on to that belt, so he had to relinquish that belt. And then Sean Porter fought Danny Garcia. I went to that fight. Y'all know that. And yeah, he got the belt from Danny, and then he lost it. You could argue he lost it to you guys, you know, but on paper, he didn't lose it to it. I thought you guys beat him, but I got to watch that fight again, maybe. I thought you guys should have been credited a knockdown, too, and it was an extremely close fight. So that's just my view on it. But nonetheless, Sean Porter won the you guys fight, fought Errol. It was a meaningful fight, and then Errol beat him. So Errol Spence has room to talk because – and Sean Porter made him work. Sean Porter made him work. I think he underestimated or underrated Sean Porter. He said, you fight like you drowning. You fight like you can't swim. Man down. You an in shape street fighter. You know, and he was talking that talk. And then Sean Porter was like, all right. And he came with it. And it was like 2 Rams. He got a knockdown that kind of closed the gap. And then the rest is history. So Errol Spence, if anybody in boxing, he's one of the people that can say this about too many boxers calling themselves champions. Next question. Now, this is just weird, bro. See, this is the type of stuff I can't even respect from fans. So Errol Spence said what he said about the too many champions. He says too many champions in the sport of boxing, and we got to tighten up on these belts. And then Dan Raphael, I guess, retweeted it or responded and said, 100, I couldn't agree more with Errol Spence. Then you have a fan, this James feller, the James character. He says fighting a non-world champion next. Talking about Danny Garcia. See, my channel is never going to be for the Jameses of the world, you know, because that's just silly talk. And then Dan Raphael said, what the F does that even mean? He's coming off a unification fight and facing one of the best fighters in the world and a former title holder in his next fight. To which Errol Spence responded, thank you, Dan. Some people not happy with Ish. I could have easily been fighting Rod Salka Ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even realistic, bro. This man just fought a unification with Sean Porter. Before that, he fought an undefeated fighter in Mikey Garcia who kept calling him out, joined Snack and was flexing. You know what I'm saying? He was flexing on the gram, acting hard, and he fought him too. That was just his last year, right? He also fought Lamont Peterson. He'd been chasing Keith around up and down the block, Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? And this dude in the comments, see, that's not even realistic, saying, oh, he's fighting Danny. What are we talking about? Danny's definitely a top guy. He's top 5, 6. And the only reason I have to say is maybe 6 is because depends on where you put Keith Thurman. But he's definitely, Errol can't fight himself. You know, there's inherent issues with Terrence Crawford to make that fight because of size of the street. Whether people want to realize that or acknowledge it or not, I'm going to acknowledge it because it's a reality. And on my channel, New Media Digital Mom, smash the like button. I'm a realist. There are inherent issues trying to make that fight. You know, Errol Spence, they're building him to a star. He could fight Pacquiao. That's worth more money to fight Pacquiao than Terrence Crawford. Love Crawford to death, but facts are facts. And it's also based on, look at Top Rank. Let's ask this question to yourself. If what I said was not accurate, look at how Top Rank, when they had Pacquiao, and Top Rank currently has Terrence Crawford, who was a bigger name on Top Rank's roster? And the obvious answer would be Manny Pacquiao, because they gave him opportunities. He had proper exposure, and he's a quality fighter. Crawford is a quality fighter, but in my opinion, he doesn't have a lot of black fighters on ESPN and Top Rank. To me, don't get the same type of exposure as certain other guys like Tyson Fury, Lomachenko, and even when Pacquiao was there. So we know Pacquiao was more given more limelight on the networks, the respective networks, when he was with Top Rank. And fast forward to the future, Pacquiao did a pack with Al Heyman. He got a couple fights with Broner. That was a high profile fight on pay-per-view. And then more importantly, he fought Keith Thurman, consolidated the WBA titles, right? And in that fight, he gained a lot of respect. So without a doubt, Pacquiao having 70 plus fights, being more of a household name, being a legend, and also being branded better within the network and within the boxing entity of Top Rank, Errol could go this route. If Pacquiao, he got a couple fights left before he tries to be president or whatever. You see what I'm saying? And that's a reality. So fans have to acknowledge that. You could play dumb and try to act like Errol Spence ain't on the fast track to stardom. All he has to do is keep doing this and keep winning. He's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Al Heyman is putting him in GOAT positions. All he has to do is discipline himself, train hard, be the same fighter he's always been. But if he keeps winning, we know it's up with him. It's all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That's the reality of it. Terrence Crawford has not been branded the same way. As terrific a fighter as he is, that's just the reality of it. Right now, who does Top Rank have that Crawford's going to fight? Because they keep saying Pacquiao, but then I just seen Sean Gibbs, who's one of Pacquiao's, like, in his ear and one of his advisors or whatever, long time. And he said, Bob's just talking nonsense. There's no truth to that. So there's so many great fights for Errol, but once again, as predicted, Terrence Crawford, unless he fights the PBC guy, the people you see on screen and stuff like that, he just doesn't have the direct access to the marquee names. That's just the reality of what it is. You could play dumb, you could not like the politics. I'm here to speak the truth. So, you know, any fan who's getting mad at Errol Spence for fighting Sean Porter in a unification and now fighting Danny Garcia, you know, I'm not trying to hear that, because that's just foolishness. Meanwhile, we're in a pandemic and you see garbage fights being made. You know, I'm not going to single anyone out. You guys know what fights are good and which ones aren't. But the bottom line is you see some pandemic edition fights being made. How on earth could you have the audacity to be mad at Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia? Stop it. Let me know what you guys think. Use my affiliate link in the description if you want to get ESPN Plus. Tons of content. They got original series, docu-series, and a ton of stuff. It does help the channel grow. You know, sign up to Patreon or become a YouTube channel member if you want to join the conversation. And we got some stuff cooking. Shout out to Errol Spence. There are too many champions. I agree with him there. And, you know, as far as y'all only get half a bar. If you mad at Danny Garcia and Errol Spence fighting each other for 2 belts in a pandemic, F y'all. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We work. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter." Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.